Because entrepreneurship doesn't work that way. It's not about investing hours and then you get paid. It's about how much time does this thing require in order to be built. It's like building a house. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Unique. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make videos about business, health and wellness. So in today's video, I want to share with you my journey of failing at entrepreneurship. So this is something that you probably want to hear if it's your first time venturing out into entrepreneurship and you're concerned about whether if you start, things don't work out, and there's every possibility that you might fail. So I wanted to share how I actually went through the whole process of failing and bouncing back. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Now, just to give you a bit of backstory, so I had sold my house and made a decent profit and bought a second house. So with that money that was left over, I was using it to renovate the second property. Halfway through, I was supposed to have lined up a job basically through that whole period, and the job basically kept falling through. So halfway through, I realized I can't find a job. What should I do? And the heavens descended on me and basically said, we want you to start your own business. So I toyed around with the idea for not that long because I didn't have a job. And I basically said, okay, I think, God wants me to be an entrepreneur. That being the decision moving forward, I flung myself into mentally training my mind and preparing myself. So I read as many books as I could. I consumed so many Gary V videos. What's his name? Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, all these people. I just filled my whole reality with this way of life basically because I had no experience. After spending probably a week or two doing this, I decided, okay, let me start setting up whatever I can because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Now you might be in that position where you want to start a business, you don't know what to do. I was in that same position. So I just basically used what was around me to set up a few businesses. And I flung myself into doing these things, and as the weeks went by, I realized, hang on a second, I'm not making enough money. Began to get really worried, and I said to God, because I'm extremely spiritual, I said, God, what is this? You called me to entrepreneurship and the thing is failing, it's flopping. Like what was the plan here? So I got a dream basically. I asked and I got a dream to say, you're trying to do something but you're not entirely ready for it yet. So you don't have all the things you need. You as a person, you're not ready to be able to take on that challenge. When I read that, I said, oh my goodness, I need to go back to work. So I admitted defeat. At this point, I had gone into my overdraft. I depleted all of the money. I was spiraling down and it was becoming a very scary time for me. There I was in my overdraft, just watching money dwindling. So yes, I decided to get a job. But I said, listen, me and God are talking now. I said, I'm not going to get an office job because I detest working in an office. I detest being controlled, and that's probably the same for you. That's why you're being called to entrepreneurship. So I said, listen, I will work I'll work a job, but the job has to be part-time and it has to be non-office based and very low skill. So I managed to find a job. It was an unsavory job from my perspective or to my standards. It's something I said I'd never do, but I ended up doing. It's not a silly job, but it's just something I said I'd never do. That's below me, that's beneath me. I ended up doing it. Yeah, essentially I was back at work, and what I did was during that 1 year, so I was there for a year, working part-time, but because I was committed to my business, so I continued to build my business on the side. I invested as much time as I could, and essentially I was more or less working full time. But every spare moment I had, I built my business because that was the goal. I didn't give up on the goal. I still wanted to be an entrepreneur and a successful businesswoman. So I built, I grinded, I built. I looked at ways to use the little money that I had to grow the business, and that continued for a year until I'm now in a stage where I left that part-time position because the business is mobilizing capital. It's thriving. I've got customers. I've got valid markets that I'm playing in as a business owner. So I decided a few months ago, now is the time to leave. Let's try this again. So that's my backstory. What I'm gonna do now is just summarize all the ways that I went wrong so you can avoid those mistakes. Right, so the first mistake that I made was that I didn't have a profitable idea. The ideas that I had that I kind of scrambled together. They were decent ideas, but they weren't making money. So that's the first mistake that I made. If you're gonna jump off into entrepreneurship, make sure that you at least have a profitable idea. You know, money has to be coming in, otherwise you're gonna basically deplete whatever you have in terms of funding your dream to become an entrepreneur, whatever savings you're using to sustain your daily living. Basically, you're going to deplete those funds. So it's essential that whatever you're doing as a business is able to not only replace your living costs, but also be profitable as well. So that was my first mistake. None of these ideas I had was bringing in enough money to cover any of my basic living costs, let alone make a profit. The second mistake I made was basically not knowing how to run a business. You know, if you want to be successful at business, you have to learn the fundamentals and the basics of running a business. So I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how to kind of mobilize money, basically get money to come to you. That's the basics of running a business. You have to learn how to attract money into your life. So I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to develop markets or to find opportunities or to find gaps in the market, because I'm basically a person that operates in product markets. So my entrepreneurship journey centers around products, and I just love products and having physical stock and inventory and that kind of thing. Yours might be different, or your aspirations might be different. But for me, you know, I buy stock not knowing how to research the market properly, not knowing how to budget, not knowing how to use, if you have £100, learning how to segment that £100 so it's profitable to you. But I didn't know any of that, just the fundamentals of running a business, which you need to know in order to run a business, basically. So yeah, in that regard, I definitely wasn't knowledgeable, and so I failed. So that was my second mistake. My third mistake was that I had extremely poor work ethic. Okay, I'm coming from a kind of a corporate background. I spent all of my career working for other people. So that basically gave me a mindset of I work X amount of hours, I get paid X amount of hours, which is 90% of the population's mindset. That doesn't work in entrepreneurship. So that's what I expected. I was, pumping in all these hours, like, at the end of the day, I'd be like, okay, I work 9 hours. Sorry, I work 9 hours today, and there would be no output, because entrepreneurship doesn't work that way. Entrepreneurship, for example, if you're building a particular side of your business, right? Because a business takes different facets in order to be developed. If you're building a certain part of your business, so when you're growing your business, it's not a matter of I've invested 9 hours, so I should see 9 hours worth of produce or even financial reward. It doesn't work that way. For example, if you're building a website, you could invest easily 2-3 months and not see any outcome, because entrepreneurship doesn't work that way. It's not about investing hours and then you get paid. It's about how much time does this thing require in order to be built. It's like building a house. So I was happily just working, plugging away for hours and hours and thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing a good job, not really reflecting on actually, it's not about how much time you're putting in. It's about, are you even working at the thing that will bring profit into your business? And that's a very important mindset. In terms of work ethic, oh my god, I was all over the place. So I would go to bed at like 12 at night and get up at 8. If somebody calls, I'd take the personal phone call. If my friends called, I'd be on the phone chatting. I'd be watching YouTube videos while I'm working. If I felt like having a little nap, which I'm not really a big napper, but if I felt to have a nap at some point, I'd just lay down and have a nap. If I didn't feel too well on a certain morning, sometimes I'd just have a lie-in. Cannot be like that as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship requires for your work ethic to be stellar. Now I get up at 4:30 every day. I'm in bed by 9. I have a lunch break, which is very regimented. It's like 45 minutes, have a walk. I plan my work weeks ahead. So that's the kind of mindset you have to have as an entrepreneur. The next reason why I failed at entrepreneurship my first time round was because I had extremely poor knowledge of money. You need to understand how money works as an entrepreneur. You have to spend money in order to make money, and I wasn't aware of that. Say for example, if you wanted to pull in about 60k a year, you basically have to invest probably double that in order to get that back, and I wasn't aware of that. I just thought, okay, I have a little money here to play with, my £7,000 that I had saved up. I thought that was enough to grow a business and cover my living expenses to infinity and beyond. It doesn't work like that. As an entrepreneur, you have to understand how money works. You have to be able to stretch money in order to get the most out of it. This is why most entrepreneurs align themselves with venture capitalists, because they're the ones that have access to big amounts of capital. You need capital in order to grow a business. The only way that this might not apply to you is if you're one of these people that have these ideas like e-courses, those digital courses, and you have experience in that area, then you're basically up and running. You shouldn't have to worry that much because you have a solid idea that's pretty easy to implement as well. You have low overhead costs. You don't need to buy inventory. You don't need to kind of spend a lot of money financing that particular business. Whereas for the rest of us, for regular people, even if you're in the product or service industry, you do have to invest in either buying your products or invest in getting that knowledge or invest in, setting up your team. All these things, you do require money in order to grow a business. So that was my mistake. I didn't have an understanding of how to get money into my business, have my business being profitable, and also how to budget, how to allocate my finances. And also I didn't have friends and family around that I could borrow. You hear all these stories. Oh, I had an investment from my dad and he lent me £500,000. I didn't have that. That's one of the mistakes I made when I was first trialing this entrepreneurship thing. The next mistake that I made was that I wasn't opportunistic. So I felt that I would have my ideas and then everything would be about the idea, the business idea, and this is how we would grow. But business, I realized, doesn't work that way. You have to learn how to leverage opportunities all around you. It's never just, I have this idea and it's gonna blow up. Usually you fail, and then you have to learn how to look outside of yourself and turn opportunities that are around you into profitable businesses or profitable prospects. So that's very essential as an entrepreneur. So where I was working my part-time job, there was actually another entrepreneur that was doing some stuff there as well. And we built up a kind of a friendship, and I realized, because I was starting to understand that you have to be opportunistic in order to build a business, and it's all about relationships when it comes to business, I realized that, hold on a second, you may need my help. And I actually approached him to do some work, on his behalf, on behalf of his social media, in terms of promoting his social media and basically some marketing work for him. And it worked out for that particular moment. I did some work for him for a couple of months. So that taught me you have to learn how to see opportunities outside of what you're doing. This is the thing when you work in a 9-to-5 job. You basically go to work and you come home and all your focus is literally on your job. Whereas with entrepreneurship, it does not work that way. The next reason why I failed at entrepreneurship is because I wasn't humble. I'm not a very humble person. I'm learning to be, learning to have humility. So in taking the job that I took as a part-time role, as I said, it, something I said I'd never do. To be honest, it was my biggest blessing because it allowed me to build my business on the side, and it showed me so many things about myself it basically taught me how to be more of service, because I was working with people that were homeless, that kind of thing. So it showed me a different side of the world, and it just basically made me a more humble person. So I think with entrepreneurship, you might realize on your entrepreneurial journey, there's certain opportunities that you need to take, but you think, oh, I'm above that, or that's below me, when that really is where your blessings lie. So that was one of my big failings as a first-time entrepreneur, is not having a humble spirit and just learning how to take it down a notch. And the last reason why I failed as an entrepreneur is because I was very over-reliant on spirituality. So I talk about spirituality a lot on this channel. I just thought, okay, God has shown me this is what I want you to do. So all I need to do is hold firm to that belief, and then everything will play out. It doesn't work that way. You have to, of course, hold firm to the belief, but you also have to invest by putting in action. You have to take action. That's one of my big failings as an entrepreneur, as a spiritual entrepreneur, is that I thought I would leave everything over to God, because this is what God has ordained for me, so to speak, and then everything will just work out, and then I'll just sail off into the sunset. It doesn't work that way. You're going to be transformed. You're going to be transformed. You're going to be turned into a completely different person, because essentially entrepreneurship is about transforming you spiritually. That's what entrepreneurship is. If you look at the premise or the foundation of entrepreneurship, it's about learning how to create opportunities, learning how to trust a higher source in being in charge of your life, learning how to not live in fear of poverty, okay? Learning that money can come from anywhere. All of these things are spiritual concepts. This is why 99% of the world are not entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs don't fear failure. You know, they're very bold risk takers. They're very innovative. These are the people that come out with ideas that have never been heard of before because their brains are wired differently. So what I want to do is I just want to summarize everything so you recognize all my mistakes so you know not to make them yourself. Okay, so the first thing is ensure that you have a profitable idea. Ensure that whatever idea you have, it's already making money, it's already mobilizing capital, and it's making enough money to cover your living expenses and also give you enough wiggle room as well. A second recommendation to avoid failure is to save up enough money to last for a year and a half at least. Living expenses have to be covered. If you're worried about the roof over your head, how you're going to eat, you can't create from that space. So it's essential that your basics are covered because it makes it easier for you to create and grow your business from a healthy mind space. The third thing is to learn how to run a business. If you're in a product-based business, as I am in, learn how to study your markets, learn how to budget, learn how to invest your money into markets and opportunities that will give you the biggest outcome. Learn how to invest your money so that you're getting the most out of it. Learn how to focus on the profitable aspects of your business. Profit first, always. Learn how to scale. Learn how to quickly focus on the avenues in your business that's bringing in profit and scale from there. So your business has to be profitable and you have to learn how to run a business. The fourth thing is you have to give yourself completely to your business in terms of focus. You have to have extremely stellar work ethic and focus to cut out all distractions. I don't watch YouTube videos from Monday to Friday unless they pertain to business. I'm not on social media, no Instagram, Facebook, nothing like that during the week, Monday to Friday. Everything is towards my business in terms of focus. I plan my weeks in advance. So I have a vision for my business basically. I know what I'm building and I hold that vision in my mind constantly, and every day that I wake up, that's the vision I see, and I keep building because you have to bear that in mind. You're building something. Your business is like your baby, so you have to always be watching and paying attention to the needs of your business. Where might you need to invest more money? Where might you need to scale back? Where might you need to invest in more marketing? What's showing more growth? What's not showing as much growth? You always have to be aware of all the facets of your business in order for your business to succeed. All your attention has to be on your business, because if you have divided attention, then you won't be able to grow as quickly as an entrepreneur. It's extremely essential that you're laser focused on your business. Some may call it an obsession. It's slightly an obsession. And you'll notice with most entrepreneurs, they're extremely, obsessive people. Everything is about their business, and there's a healthy way to do that. I'm not saying that you should completely isolate yourself, but a large amount of your attention has to be on building your business, especially in the beginning stages. The fifth suggestion is to have excellent financial intelligence. You're going to have to learn how to budget. You will have to make financial sacrifices in order for your business budget to be as healthy as it can be. As a new entrepreneur, when you're in the building stages, you will need access to as much capital as possible, so you will have to learn how to scale back. You will need to learn how to control your expenses, control your budgeting. For example, there are ideas that I have in terms of launching new products. If I had the money, I would just go and launch those products. However, because you're budget constrained, it means that you have to focus on profit first and focus on markets that are viable, and basically focus on things that will bring profit and revenue back into your business. This is why I advocate bootstrapping as opposed to going off and getting investment or having people lend you the money. Your business expertise has to be stellar first. Your business acumen has to be stellar first. And I think not having access to a large amount of money definitely strengthens your business acumen. Financially, you will have to learn how to get comfortable with debt. This was alien to me in the beginning, but now I'm extremely comfortable with debt. You have to learn how to make loans work for you. As a business owner, it's not just about building from your own pocket or using your own money. You might have to go and borrow money. However, this is on the basis that you have a concept that works, a concept that is mobilizing capital. So on that basis, you take on investment, or you take on loans, or you borrow, you take on debt on the basis that you can pay that back quickly because you have a business that is buoyant and that's generating profit. Also, if your business is product-based like mine is, you'll have to learn how to get credit from your vendors, have extended payment periods. You know, all of these things are going to work in your favor. So your ability to manage money and your financial intelligence has to be really good, because if you've gone and taken on debt and you have a poor business idea, the business isn't making money, then you have all of this debt, then you're going to get yourself into serious trouble. My sixth suggestion is to learn how to leverage opportunities around you. You have to learn how to create opportunities that don't exist. Maybe you have to create jobs that don't exist. As the leader and owner of your business, you have to get comfortable with putting yourself out there. There's no hiding, there's no staying behind the scenes as you may be used to in your corporate job. You know, nobody's above you pulling the strings or keeping you safe. This is all you. So you have to be comfortable putting yourself at the forefront, getting out there, raising capital, getting that money in order to sustain your business. That has to be your mindset. You also have to leverage the connections that you have around you. It's all about relationships when it comes to running a business successfully. If you listen to the most world-renowned entrepreneurs out there, they were able to build their businesses on the basis of their connections, of the basis of the relationships that they have built. You have to leverage opportunities and you have to make good connections, because your business will grow through people. Any business that you're working on is never just for yourself. It's always to be of service to others. So in order for you to achieve massive success, you have to get comfortable with the idea that you're not just a one-man band and a one-woman show. I know there's this popular theory that being an entrepreneur is very isolating. I mean, to be honest, it is. However, you have to extend yourself in order to not shut yourself off from the world, because the opportunities to build your business are extremely likely to come through others. My seventh suggestion is to be humble. Your business will grow through your connections with people, and if you're not good with people, then you're really impairing your business's opportunity to grow. I know for me, I struggle with being humble. I am not the most humble person that there is. During my entrepreneurial journey, I was taken on a journey of humility, and that's what you'll find if you're true to the entrepreneurial journey. Whatever money blocks you have, or whatever's keeping you from having a thriving business and adding real value to people's lives, this is how you make real money. It's by adding real and big value. What's stopping you from adding that value is because you have certain characteristics or spiritual ailments that's really stopping you from becoming that person. And in my case, it was my inability to be humble. I just thought I knew everything because I had a well-paying job in a big fancy company. I thought, okay, you know, I'm it. So my journey was one of humility, because now that I'm humble and I learn, essentially the money that I make comes through people, and I just love serving people now. I don't approach things from a mindset of I'm on top of everything. This is about, you're my customer, you're the boss of me, you're in charge of me. It's my pleasure to be of service to you. So I approach entrepreneurship now from a space of being of service. You know, whenever they place an order, I'm just always elated and excited. I call out their names and I thank them for the £5.29, £5.30, £10.99, £25.19, £45, whatever amount they've given to me in terms of supporting my business. I'm grateful that they've chosen my product. Their money is keeping a roof over my head. The money that they've worked so extremely hard for is coming my way in terms of buying a product that I have to offer. So I'm extremely grateful for that. Even the customers that complain. The other day I had a customer report me to PayPal, literally because she wasn't provided with a tracking number like a day after ordering her item, and the item hadn't come after like 2 days. She reported me to PayPal, and it was just so disheartening. But because I come from such a place of servitude now, because the entrepreneurial journey has humbled me, I get to understand where customers are coming from now. I have a spirit of understanding, basically. I'm more compassionate, I'm more patient with them. So it's important for you to honor the journey that entrepreneurship will take you will take you through. For me in particular, it's a journey of humility. For you, it might be something else. Allow the journey to mold you in the way that is fit for you, because that journey will clear your money blocks. My money block is, amongst other things, but it's not being able to serve, to come from a place of servitude to others. Now I've cleared that block, my money's up because I've now cleared myself as a channel for money. You have to understand that money and wealth, it comes through you. All the wealth in the world is available to everybody if we know how to access it. And there's certain characteristics that you need to have in order to access wealth, or for wealth to be attracted to you. And one of them is having a spirit of humility, wanting to add value, wanting to be of service. So that was my particular money block. Yours might be something else. It might be that you're not confident, or you think you're not deserving of money. I think I deserve all the money in the world, you know? So let the entrepreneurial journey shape you and mold you into what you need to become. Just be true to that process, trust it. And the last thing that I would suggest for you to avoid failure is not to be too spiritual. I was way too spiritual. I thought, like I said before, I would just trust the manifestation process. Yes, I believe I'll have a thriving business, and then work. I didn't think it would come to bite me in the butt, you know? I didn't think that I would go through pain. I didn't think it would be difficult. I didn't think any hard work would be required. You do have to work hard. There has to be a balance between spirituality and actually knowing that, you know, things might not go your way. There might be adverse effects, because that's how spirituality works, to be honest with you. A lot of the times people portray spirituality as being flowers and butterflies. It's not flowers and butterflies, okay? Sometimes it's tigers and bears, and it's difficult, and you go through a lot of pain and a lot of heartache and a lot of crying and all that kind of stuff. So don't make that mistake. If you do want to go down that route of manifesting your business, do it, but also expect for it to be difficult at times, and for you to put in the hard work. Now, with all of that being said, would I do anything differently? The answer is no. I think, like I said before, the process was individual to me. I wouldn't change a thing about me failing the first time and coming back to now being successful. I wouldn't change that, because in my failings, I learned how to win. So it's important for you to understand that this journey will not be plain sailing. I learned some very valuable lessons in my failing season, in my season of failure, and I wouldn't sacrifice that for the world. I would go through it all again, because they were essential lessons that I put into practice in my business now. So that's the end of the video. I thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Welcome to you. Joking. I'm joking. Can't be a Jamaican yardie and badding up the YouTube people then. Please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to increase my following so I can reach out to more people. But I'm off to make the next video now. So thank you so much for watching, and all the best on your entrepreneurial journey. Peace.